everybody. Welcome to the Bay County Historical Museum. It's nice to see everybody here. How many people have never been here before? Good. Welcome. Welcome. Please come again. I hope you enjoy yourselves today. This will be a good program. Alan, right? Okay, good. My name is Judy Jeffers. I'm on the board of directors of the Bay County Historical Society, and it is usually my job to introduce our presenter. First things first, make sure your cell phones are turned off. Good, good, good. Jan Rao, there's Jan, from the River of Time is going to have a few words to say about the River of Time, which is coming up in September. I'm not sure the date. I think it's the third weekend?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you need the microphone?
I don't know. I don't think so. It is actually Friday, September 22, and then Saturday the 23rd, Sunday the 24th. Saturday it will be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday it will be 9 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Friday is what we call our education day. We have students come in from everywhere. We've had them from Augrey, Detroit, Saginaw, Unionville, pick a place, we've had students. Last year we were blessed. We had 2,000 students come through our event. That's not our record high, but it is our second record high. The year that we had perfect weather, we actually had 2,500 students, which is really awesome. So we're very excited about that because that is one of our main purposes is education. River of Time is a reenactment, historical reenactment, multiple timelines. You will see Native American, colonial, French and Indian voyageurs, Civil War, World War II, and Vietnam. And last year we had one Desert Storm reenactor. So we are moving in River of Time. And that was the purpose of it when it was formed. I was not involved in the beginning, but I understand that they even talked about, you know, Star Trek and Star Wars and spaceships and things like that going into the future. So that was the thought behind River of Time, presenting that. The big thing about River of Time, it's outside. There will be weather. Be ready for that. Look and see what it's going to be. Bring a coat, bring a raincoat, galoshes, umbrella. Our reenactors don't go home when it rains. They stay there, and they would love to see you. Come and visit with them, because that is part of what River of Time was. You experience what happened, what really happened. I mean, there it was. They were outside. So that's what you will experience as well. Reenactors love to answer questions. We will have Mr. Lincoln, Mr. Franklin. We have a World War II flyover with reconnaissance planes on Saturday afternoon. We have a river battle at Saturday afternoon. There will be, this year we're having the Flying Eagles remote control planes. They're going to have a static display with us this year in our World War II section. Our newest skirmish, we've never done this before, very exciting. We're going to actually have a World War II skirmish this year. We've not ever had that before because we never had enough people for both sides. So this year we have enough people for both sides. So we will have a World War II skirmish. We have a Confederate presence this year. We're going to be having a smidgen of Confederates, but we are also going to be having the Peacock. The Peacock is a Civil War saloon, and it's in the style of what they had out in the field. It's nothing like what you see on television. You have to come and see it. It's just really interesting to see. So that's some of the things that are going to be there. Please come and join us. Don't be afraid of the weather. Mr. Mike is in charge of weather. So he's going to be handling that. So I think we're probably going to be just fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Do come to the River of Time. It's fabulous. It's a lot of fun for young and old alike, and the weather will be good. maybe, hopefully. Just another, no, next I'm going to introduce Mike or Mike. Which Mike?
Mike. Just pick one. I'll do it. Since I get to predict the weather in 2 weeks, how many of you have been to the Wednesdays in the Park concerts down at Winona Park? Weather's been beautiful, right? Yeah. All right. So in 2 weekends from now, it's going to be beautiful. There we go. That's how I predict the weather. So I'm Mike Batchgalupo, the director here at the museum, and you heard me say director. They took the interim off a few weeks ago, so now I'm here all the time, and I'm here to help in any way I can. I'm enjoying my stint with the River of Time people right now, because that's coming up, and I can't wait for the Star Wars one, because I really want to start using a lightsaber. You know? So, but I'm going to introduce our board chair president, Mike Weiler, who's going to talk a little bit about the donations for the museum. And that's how I passed the buck.
Good job, Mike.
Always the buck. Most of you know, if you're from Bay County, that the museum is funded by a tax levy by the county, and that provides most of our funding, and then the rest of the money is raised either by donations, grants, different things like that, and membership fees. So if there's anyone that's interested in becoming a member, we're glad to have some more members, and that gets you on a mailing list and keeps you in communication with the different events that we're involved with, from River of Time, Second Saturdays, and other things like that. Museum's open all day till 4 o'clock today, so feel free to wander around if you want to.
Thank you, Mike. Next, applause, thank you. The next presentation will be October 14th, and that will be History of Rowley Brothers with Mike Rowley. Mike Rowley will present the history of Rowley Brothers, the wholesale company from its beginning in 1921 to the present. The second Saturday after that will be on November 11th, and that will be the Bay Area Concert Band, and that will be the last one for this year until 2018. So we hope to see you next month and in November also. Now, today's presentation is Alan LaFave. I will give you his bio. Alan is the festival director and one of the founders of the Hell's Half Mile Film and Music Festival. He spent 9 years on the board of the Bay Arts Council and has served in the Bay Area Community Foundation's Community Initiative Grant Committee. Boy, this is messed. Too many words. He is currently on the Winona Park Properties Board and is board president for the newly established Hell's Half Mile events. Got that out. He spent over 23 years in the formal wear industry, first regionally, then nationally, with jobs such as marketing director, events manager, project manager in web, print, and consumer engagement. He's a graduate of John Glenn High School, Delta College, and Grand Valley State University, with a bachelor's degree of arts in advertising and public relations. Alan is a member of IFP Chicago and Film Festival Alliance organizations. He is currently employed at Oh No Design in business development and client relations. Please welcome Alan LaFave. Let me get out of your way.
Sure.
Takes about a half hour, but
That's fine.
no, it's not. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks to Judy and Pam and Mike for having me here as well. The Hell's Half Mile Film and Music Festival. Has anyone in this room been to the event? I've got a few people who have been. That's fantastic to see. Well, for those of you who haven't been to the event, Hell's Half Mile is a celebration of independent film and live music performances. At its core, the festival is a social event where storytelling and ideas are explored via sound and screen, not with the idea that the stories are bigger than us, but with the idea that we are participants. to share a couple of quotes about film that I found very interesting. Cinema is the ultimate pervert art. It doesn't give you what you desire, it tells you how to desire. The moment we cry in a film is not when things are sad, but when they turn out to be more beautiful than we expected them to be. And I think Pauline Kael, one of the most famous film critics from the I think she was a film critic from 1960s to 1990s. Pauline Kael said, "A good movie can take you out of your dull funk and the hopelessness that so often goes with slipping into a theater. A good movie can make you feel alive again, in contact, not just lost in another city. Good movies make you care, make you believe in possibilities again. If somewhere in the Hollywood entertainment world someone has managed to break through with something that speaks to you, then it isn't all corruption. The movie doesn't have to be great. It can be stupid and empty, and you can still have the joy of a good performance, or the joy in just a good line. An actor's scowl, a small subversive gesture, a dirty remark that someone tosses off with a mock, innocent face, and the world makes a little bit of sense. Sitting there alone or painfully alone because those with you do not react as you do, you know that there must be others, perhaps in this very theater or in this city, surely in other theaters in other cities, now in the past or future, who react as you do. And because movies are the most total and encompassing art form we have, these reactions can seem the most personal and maybe the most important imaginable. The romance of movies is not just in those stories and those people on the screen, but in the adolescent dream of meeting others who feel as you do about what you've seen. You do meet them, of course, and you know each other at once because you talk less about good movies than about what you love in bad movies. So thank you to those folks for clearing that for me. So let's talk about the festival. Those quotes kind of bring it to the core of why we started the festival. It was something of passion. In the early to mid 2000s, Governor Granholm had the Cool Cities program, where she gave out grants. The state gave out grants to communities that were doing something to change their community and make it more interesting and to a younger audience, to younger people because of the brain drain, people moving out of the communities. So I joined Bay City's Cool City committee after we already got the grant for the waterfall park. And we went out to the streets of Bay City, and we went out to the restaurants and bars and cafes, and we did focus groups. We talked to people and said, what do you think a cool city is? And we gathered all this information, both online and in person, and what it boiled down to was a cool city is a city that has a lot of layers of interest, things to do, various subject matter to participate in. So we decided, well, let's just follow our passions and create a new layer of interests. I was very passionate about film and about music and about many other things. So I thought that's where we'd start. Plus, in 2005, the Traverse City Film Festival happened. And myself and some friends were up there, and we were like, this is fantastic for this community. We'd like to see something like this happen for ours. And we wanted to prove that you can do something progressive in a small town. That was one of the things that people first said to me, was that this will never fly in Bay City because it's too small of a town and nobody wants anything new, they want the same. And I didn't believe that at all. So here we are 12 years later, so prove them wrong. We also started with the Bay Arts Council as a partner. For 10 years, we partnered with Bay Arts Council until we became our own nonprofit. So we are very appreciative to what the Bay Arts Council and other organizations do in our community, and we try to partner with them as often as possible. So why did we choose Hell's Half Mile as our name? Well, the Bay City Film and Music Festival really just doesn't sound that exciting, does it? I mean, I love my town. I was born and raised here. lived here for almost all of my life, and it's great. But when you try to convince filmmakers from around the world that they should submit their film for consideration for the Bay City Film and Music Festival, you know, they might scratch their head and think, is it Bay City, Texas? Is it Bay City, Wisconsin? Is it Bay City, California? You know, where is this Bay City? So we thought, what's very uniquely Bay City without saying Bay City? And right at that time, everybody was talking about like the history of the town, and Hell's Half Mile was just so cool. So we chose Hell's Half Mile because the name is a tribute to our spirited history, and it gets some attention. So we really wanted to use that. So the festival began, and we needed to figure some things out. Like the first year, we were set up for a much bigger audience than we actually had, which was about 600 people in total came over the 4 days of the festival. So we had to learn to right-size the festival, maybe not set it up for so many people, and scale it down in size. We needed to educate the community on what a film festival was. I mean, we were just used to going to the Hampton 6 and the Bay City 8, well, probably before even the Bay City 8 was there. Eastland Cinemas, that's where we went, yep. So we had to teach everybody what a film festival was, and what independent film was, and what original indie music is. And not that there wasn't anyone who knew what this was, but it's like, why go to it? Why is it different than going to the mall cinema or going to see a cover band at a bar? So that was part of our challenge at the very beginning as well. We needed to build relationships, so we connected not only with Delta College, but also SVSU, Northwood University. We started working with students, bringing them into the fold and having them design our artwork and manage venues and participate in every aspect of the festival. So instead of just talking through this whole thing, I wanted to show you a little bit of what other people can tell you about our festival by showing you just a brief video of some of the guests that were at the festival just last year.
Hell's Half Mile reinvigorated us as filmmakers. Hell's Half Mile reinvigorated us as filmmakers because no one was going to watch our movie. And now they did, and thank you.
The main thing is that it's run by a bunch of enthusiasts in a small town where you can walk from cinema to cinema. There's a lovely atmosphere here. People are very polite, very kind, very generous, and it kind of refills the energy you need to carry on to make films. So it's a really delightful film festival.
Honestly, this festival was awesome. I had no idea what to expect. I born and raised in Bay City, but I have been gone long enough that I've never made it to a Hell's Half Mile. And I truly didn't know what to expect, and this was so awesome. And I want to come back every year now.
I know they always say, like, we don't want to be called a hidden gem because we want to be more well-known, but it is. It's like, I mean, to me, a festival like this is like, just as good, if not better, than any festival, because you really get to, like, be part of the town, and it's like the whole town is covered in the festival, so it's really a fun experience.
I think it's important specifically for this region to draw in more people, draw in creativity, draw in young people, and really retain something that we seem to be losing a lot of. And this is definitely a step in the right direction for bringing them back.
I think we're very fortunate to have such a great festival that does not just movies but music and promotes arts in Bay City, because there isn't a lot of it. So this is a weekend I look forward to every year because it's great culture.
Just walking on the street, you kind of get a sense pretty quickly when you go to festivals, like, does this town care about the festival? Whether it's signs posted on lawns or in windows at restaurants, whatever. Is it in the newspapers? And I mean, right away, all the trappings of, hey, here's a community that cares about film festival was all around me. So that was exciting before I had even attended my first event.
You can sort of interact with anybody on any different level and just go up and talk to people. It's a great place, very receptive, like really good audiences, and just the location itself is something like that will draw me back.
It's a festival in a smaller city, the community plays a bigger part in coming out to see the films that we're all bringing as filmmakers, and seeing their reactions to all these wonderful projects that are come. It's just the greatest experience that I can get. Like, I get a lot of pleasure and gratitude from everything.
Hell's Half Mile seems like the perfect place for independent film because they really appreciate the weirdo spirit, and that's what we've got in spades. So it was a match made in, well, somewhere strange.
We love Hell's Half Mile.
I've been in Hell's Half Mile for 22 hours, and it's been the best stinking
We're coming
22
back.
hours
Stinking
ever.
best Hell's Half Mile.
I made a public proclamation. We're coming back.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the best
I would-
festival experiences I've ever had. So.
Stinking best festival.
Okay, so let me tell you what's happened over the years, and since we started the festival. So music has become a major part of the festival with a focus on Michigan talent, workshops, panel discussions, filmmaker mentor programs. Education has been a really big part of the festival over the last several years. Bringing the area students in from universities to have them not only participate, but to have mentorships with some of the filmmakers who are out there actually making films. So the film program at Delta College has been very helpful for them to have these experienced filmmakers talking to their students. The business community has begun to step up with support, and the audience is growing and staying downtown all weekend long, which is fantastic for the businesses. We've had great guests. We had a documentarian here a number of years ago by the name of Steve Gebert. You might not know his name, but you probably know some of the people that he's worked with in the past. He did his film that we had here was called 20 to Life, The Life and Times of John Sinclair. John Sinclair was the chairman of the White Panther Party and infamous manager of the MC5. Steve also directed a documentary called Imagine with a singer you might know by the name of John Lennon. So it was really fantastic to have Steve here back early on in the history of our festival. We've had actors like, well, we don't have a lot of big famous actors at the festival all the time, but this one you might know. You remember the Beverly Hills Cops movies? Well, John Ashton played Sergeant Taggart. Well, he was here a couple of years ago. We've had guys like Ryder Strong, who was in the TV series Boy Meets World, and then the new series Girl Meets World. So we have our slight grazing brushes with celebrity, but no dead-on hits there. But that's not what we're about. We're really about bringing some great storytelling and great entertainment to our community. So where are we now? Well, we are our own nonprofit. We became our own nonprofit in 2016. We are standalone, and we are happy to add to our community with our mission as a nonprofit organization dedicated to celebrating and expanding the art of independent film, music, and entertainment. We strive to exceed expectations while inspiring our community to participate in the arts. We provide the alternative, entertain, and inspire. So just a few more things I want to tell you about the festival. The festival audience has grown to over 4,000 people attending last year. Remember the first year we only had 600 people in total show up over 4 days. So these are the same folks coming to event after event after event. They're going to receptions, they're going to films, they're going to panels and workshops, they're going to music events. We currently have the seating capacity to quadruple our film attendance, so we've got a lot of room for growth. We're recognized internationally as a quality programmed filmmakers festival. You probably heard a few accents in there, an Australian, a Norwegian, a Venezuelan. They flew in for our festival. They flew themselves in for our festival to come here and participate and to see Bay City and to see their film screened to an audience like you. We've hosted over 150 filmmakers in the last 11 years, which is a fantastic event. And one of the reasons why the Michigan Film and Digital Media Office is our presenting sponsor this year and hosting their advisory council's annual meeting here is because of the amount of filmmakers that will attend this festival. So we're very thankful for that. So financially, our impact has provided about $150,000 in economic impact each year in Bay County. And our outlook, this is the interesting thing. Hell's Half Mile has that ever elusive quality that attracts young people. We've got them fooled because we found that Hell's Half Mile is a multi-generational festival. We have a great cross-section of baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, all attending the festival because movies are at the crossroads of art and entertainment, and everyone loves the movies. We're doing music showcases throughout the year, which helps to drive our younger audience. We've got a film series, which I hope you'll attend as well. It's October through March, twice a month at the State Theater. Except for December, we only do one screening because, parties for the holidays, We're members of the Film Festival Alliance, which is a national organization for film festivals. We've had some really big names attached to our festival. Has anybody seen the movie La La Land? The writer-director of La La Land, Damien Chazelle, was one of our first jurors for our festival. So we have industry people every year participating in judging our films that we have at the festival and providing their feedback and naming which ones are the best so that we can provide cash prizes to some of them. So another one of the reasons why we're getting some acclaim from filmmakers. So, what do we need to get to the next level? Well, it simply just comes down to you. Your support, your attendance, and bringing people along with you, that's what we need. We're only doing this because we want to do it for our community. We're all volunteers, so we have no gain in this except for adding something interesting for our community. So I want to share a quote, one very small quote from Pauline Kael, one more for this, and that's, "Movies are so rarely great art that if we cannot appreciate great trash, we have very little reason to be interested in them." I think she said that well. Whether it's art or trash, it's entertainment, it can be art, and we hope that you are coming to the movies with us this year. We're September 28th through October 1st, and we are at the State Theater, we're at the Delta College Planetarium, and at the Scottish Rite Cathedral as well. Those are our 3 film venues. All are accessible, and 2 out of 3 have concessions, so there's that. Gotta have popcorn. If you'll bear with me and I can see if it'll work, I got a short preview of the films that will be playing at the festival. Would you guys like to see that? Yeah. Just a real short one. It just give you a visual look at what's playing there. So that's just a short preview. You can actually see the trailers for all the films that will be playing at the festival at hellshalfmile.com. We do show documentary films. You might be interested in hearing. About a few of them. One is called "What Music Do You Speak," which is a documentary about a gentleman who goes back to Argentina. His mom grew up in Argentina. He lives in Paris, and he goes from village to village, from big city all the way to the smallest of villages, exploring the music of his mom's culture, which is quite wonderful. There's a great documentary on a gentleman who has helped bring peace to Northern Ireland and in South Africa. We have a wonderful, if anyone loves Ireland, we have a beautiful documentary called The Crest, which is about two guys who find out that they're related, and were related to the king of the Blasket Islands, and they explore their heritage by going back to surf the Blasket Islands. They're both surfers. So we also have wonderful films that are very just entertainment. We've got a great Brazilian film called El Revenge that's in both Spanish and Portuguese. We have some wonderful films made right here in Michigan. We're calling it our Michigan Matinee. It's a short film program, documentary, and a narrative feature that were all made right here in Michigan. So I hope you join us for that as well. If you have any questions on any of the festival, I'd be happy to share more information. Yes?
About how long do these films run?
So for the most part, it's about an hour and a half to hour and 45-minute time period. Some will go closer to 2 hours, but not really. Not too many of them do that. We do have a lot of the filmmakers that will be present, so they'll be there for like a 15-minute Q&A afterwards. So we try to bring in as many filmmakers as possible, and like I said, we'll have about 40 to 50 filmmakers here.
Show them throughout the day?
Yep, we'll show one film on Thursday night, our opening night, and that is a thriller called The Scent of Rain and Lightning. And we'll also have a reception that night as well. And on Friday at 2 o'clock, we start films all day long. Saturday at about 10:30 a.m. we start films. They play all day long. And Sunday, same thing, about noon to 7 p.m. Yes?
Where do you get the films? Where do they come from?
Sure. We have a submission process. So filmmakers from around the world join websites called Film Freeway or Without a Box. And it's a place for filmmakers and film festivals to connect. So we tell them about our festival, and they submit their film to us to consider for our programming. This year, we had over 500 films submit to our festival for consideration for about 31 slots. Yes. We also attend other festivals around the country to scout films for the festival. This year, I went to the Tribeca Film Festival in New York, Sundance, Slamdance, South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. So some of the big festivals in the country. We'll go there, watch the films, see if it sounds like something that our audience would like, and we invite them to submit to the festival for consideration as well.
The Michigan ones, like a documentary made at Delta College or something, are any of those ever shown? Or?
Yeah, actually some of those are part of our Michigan Matinee program. We have done local or student or Michigan short films in the past. This year we've expanded that to having feature-length films as well. So we have a documentary called Stigmatic, Our Opioid Crisis, that was produced here locally right here in Bay City. We actually have a narrative feature called Future that was shot in Detroit. And then we have short films that were shot here in Lansing, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Kalamazoo, all over the place. Yeah.
Are those available on hellshalfmile.com?
No, they're not screening on the website. You have to actually come to the festival for that. But a lot of the times we...
Past ones.
No, but we do try to list them. A lot of the films that come to our festival, you'll see end up on Netflix eventually, or they'll be on Showtime or HBO or Cinemax.
I have a friend that had done one over on Center Avenue in a mansion there. It was a horror flick.
Oh.
And he was in Hell's Half Mile, but I missed it that year.
Oh, no.
So I was wondering if there was a way to find that.
Yeah, not through us. We generally only have the rights to show them during the festival, and then they belong to the filmmakers, so you'd have to connect directly with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
Where can we get a schedule of the films and where they're going to be?
Sure. Well, our program is in the process of being printed right now, but they'll be out very soon. We'll have some at the State Theater and a number of places around town. We'll bring some over here as well. But right now you can go to hellshalfmile.com and click on the festival schedule. Oops, sorry about that. And you'll be able to see a day-by-day breakdown of what's taking place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The local ones will be on that schedule.
They absolutely will be. And those are Saturday morning and Saturday early afternoon. And that'll be at the Scottish Rite.
Oh, okay.
Yep, all in the same place. You can just sit there all day. Any other questions?
Can we go?
You absolutely can. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming, and I hope to see you at the movies.